Okay. So, good evening. I'd like to call to order the BR meeting of today, being April the 20th at 5:32 p.m. And would the bar members just read their names into the record, please?
Yes, William Mincy.
Stina Nemec.
Stephanie Rinzer.
Mr. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So the other two bar members are not absent today. So let me start with the first applicant today for 6 Clubhouse Road, please. Would you like to step forward and explain?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Scott Alray. I know some of you.
Wait one second. Did you hear the name? Okay.
Scott Alray. Thank you. So, yes, I live at 6 Clubhouse Road Extension. And so we have hemlock trees sort of on there are two Clubhouse Road Extension. And I'm sure they must have been put up for screening purposes a long time ago, but now they're in bad shape. So we just wanted to take them down and replace them. And Mark Kalish, who's on the Zoom call, is arborist. Some of you know, I think, and he can also speak to the condition of the trees.
So how many trees are there that are affected?
So in the front, there are 7, and on the side, there are 9.
Now, can I just ask something? John, are they, did you measure them? Are they smaller than the actual requirement?
I did not measure.
Well, the requirement's 4 inches, right? If they're bigger than 4 inches?
Yes.
Oh, really? At what height? Oh,
It's either 4 or 5 inches, 48 inches above the base.
Yeah.
you
these
measure
are-
them?
Yeah, but
Okay.
these are, they're not much bigger, but they're a little bigger. I think there's one of them that's smaller, but the rest of them, I would say close, but a little bigger.
The total number is
7 and 9, so it's
Okay. So, and is there an electrical line above it?
yes, so in the front
Mhm.
along Clubhouse Road, the wires are above it, so they're growing into the
So
wires.
they've been trimmed already to cut
They've
to,
been
right,
chopped, not by us, but
right.
you know, but that's one reason they don't. They don't look very good. The ones on the side, no.
And the main purpose is for screening, correct?
Yeah,
That's-
for screening, and also just even if we're not for screening, they look bad.
Right.
But yeah, we'd like there to be more screening.
Well, I mean, understandably, they're not providing screening. They seem to be not in the best condition, and they're with the compromised wires and everything. It's a scenario that replacing them would seem to be the ideal option. Question about what to replace them with is that's what we'd love to share some of our input with that, because if it was a gas station, we would say go ahead, arbor vitae, plant them all around, but we're in Tuxedo Park, and so I think replacing with those would not be a good thing. Yes, you see them all around, and unfortunately, because they're not yes, they provide screening, and they're quick, but pretty nasty. So we're wondering if we can suggest some other alternatives that you'd be amenable to, that would be evergreen, provide the screening, and not grow too quickly to get compromised. So they'd be slow growing and sort of medium sized, large bushes or small trees. I mean, each area is different, but immediately your neighbor opposite has a wonderful screening of rhododendrons. The Hargrove's house, opposite the Gwathmey's, there's a wonderful grove of rhododendrons there, which is evergreen, provides the screening, and it has great flowers, and so that's one recommendation. And, Stephanie, I'm sure, has.
I have no recommendations. Oh, I can't recommend it. Well, I don't know. Andromeda. I don't know.
Is that tall enough? You want a bit of height, probably.
It's not very tall.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think they need to be huge, but
And how are the ones you've placed so far? You've already done some plantings of
Oh, yeah.
American holly, and how are they doing?
so that was one of the reasons we chose the arborvitae, mostly arborvitae. Some of them, we had some that were the Japanese cedar. The ones that have done best, we planted a lot of trees on that property. And the ones that have done the best are the arborvitaes and the Japanese cedars.
Mhm.
The rhododendrons have not done well.
Oh, you've tried them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they just, I don't know, they didn't do well. And then we had these blue spruce that did not do well. We had to take them all out. And then, I don't know, Mark, do you remember what were the other ones? We had, we planted some,
Red cedar. That's a
Oh.
native one.
I don't think we've tried red cedar. We've tried, we have other hemlocks in the back that are doing so-so. I mean, they're not dying like these, but they don't look great. But yeah, the arborvitaes and the Japanese cedar, they look great. By far the best of any that we put in. But I mean, we're open to other ideas. I don't think the rhododendrons will be great.
Well, if they're
Um,
not, if your soil
yeah.
isn't, then yeah, that's
Could I ask Mark? maybe?
no, yes.
Could I ask what suggestion you may have in terms of evergreens that are perhaps more of a variety of, to
Sure.
give a bit of like a different structure to the, so you don't just have a green wall, but to vary it a little bit.
Well, there are many challenges up there. Deer, obviously, everybody's challenged by deer. The other challenge is shallow soil. So rhododendrons are very shallow rooted. They're hard to establish. Once they establish, they're terrific. But they are also, unless they're the native rhodies, they get eaten by deer, especially newly planted ones. The red cedars are a target for deer. And all of this can be handled by spraying, but I'm about not planting anything that requires inputs on an ongoing
No.
basis. So what don't the deer eat? Well, we know that,
Junipers, maybe? What about
no,
junipers?
the junipers are a favorite. Junipers, taxus, those are all things they like to eat. I've been spraying the junipers that are on the property that are eaten by the deer, and the spray is very effective. But if we continue to plant them, it's an attractant. So I'm trying to avoid that. The problem, I agree with Chris about the ubiquitous arborvitae, but they're planted because they do establish quickly, and the deer do not seem to like them. Hollies are okay, but you need more light than Chris has in that area to establish them. So they'll look kind of sparse and remain sparse. Um, Norway spruce, another ubiquitous tree that grows pretty quickly. And we can manage this as they get to height before it reaches anywhere near the wires and prune them into a hedge. If you do it early, you're proactive, they will grow into a really substantial hedge and can be maintained as such. Um, so it's irrigation issues. The plants and shrubs that are shallow rooted are going to be really difficult to grow. There's also a weevil which attacks the rhododendron. I've been avoiding them except for the native ones. And Chris has a bunch of native ones on one border of the property, but they were planted originally, and now they're okay. But again, they're still sparse because of some seasons it's just not wet enough to sustain profuse growth. So the Rutgers has a list of the trees and plants that are truly deer resist. They have two categories: deer resistance and deer proof, and it's a very, very short list, and even shorter in Tuxedo Park. So one of the things I like to do is drive around and see what has been recently planted and what's successful. Boxwoods do well, but we can't get boxwoods to the height to provide the screening we need. They do well because they can establish in a shadier spot, and the deer definitely don't eat them. Andromedas, which was suggested, is a beautiful shrub that the deer absolutely don't eat. It's on that short list. but they're slow growers. I can't find them at the size that Chris needs to provide the utility of screening. So we're left with the arborvitaes, which will have to be pruned into a hedge at some point as well. And I understand your reticence to allow that because they are overplanted.
I mean, I
However,
will say that in the front, it's not going to be just like a wall. There are a lot of, did you go look at it? There are other trees, and these would not go where the current ones are. They'd go in, and they'd sort of be interspersed with the ones that are there. So it's not going to be like a hedge. On the side, there isn't a lot of room between the house and the road. I think that is kind of meant to be more like a hedge. Like having more of a line over there. That's how it is now with these. And I mean, there's not really room to offset or have a lot of different things on the side. But I hear you, especially on the front.
That makes sense. I mean, the front part's the most visible. That's where
Yeah.
everyone drives by.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they're planted back, so they're not underneath
Yeah.
the power thing, intersperse, and then in the front area underneath the wires, that's maybe where you can plant some of these slower growing bushes, so that slowly they'll grow up. So there won't be, and like dog hobble, it's on the triangle just up here. There are this it's
I know, yeah.
Leucothra.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you. They're fantastic. They're not big growing, but they're evergreen and they're native. So and so trying a few natives there as well that will just make it not look so suburban. It would be great. So
Yeah, it's an excellent underplanting on Leucothra. They don't do well in harsh winters. They burn. And they're quite peaked looking right now, most of them. But we can protect them. I can spray with Woolproof, an anti-desiccant at the right time of year to give them a better chance. Another option is, again, it doesn't fit my idea of less inputs, but hemlocks do well. We have newly planted hemlocks on the property in the back, and they're spectacular. But they will get the woolly adelgid eventually, and that will do the same thing that happened to the ones in the front. But I spray them with a botanical oil, which is it's non-toxic, and it does work. It's effective, and we could do that. We could intersperse those, so it's not the only planting. And the Japanese cedar are fantastic, and they will grow in that area, and we can do that. So if we had a combination of cedars and hemlock and the arborvitaes and maybe some hollies, or a couple of hollies that are truly deer resistant, their leaves are extremely sharp, and so the deer are repelled because they get actually cut by them when they chew. And underplanting with some natives to soften the whole thing is a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, that works fine. I mean, the hollies that are there that we put in haven't been doing that great, but
you have to have a boy and a girl.
They're
dioecious.
We've got
If you want
several,
berries.
but none of them are doing great. But we want it to look more, we don't want it to look like a wall. That was not the intention.
Okay.
We want it to, so that's no problem at all. In the front. On the side, I just, it's harder there. Right. I think more of a line of something is kind of what it calls for.
Well, although we have the challenge of one of the most majestic oak trees in the park right there. It's a white oak.
Yeah.
It's magnificent, and it predates the park by a lot, and it's in really good health. And when I plant there, I
That's
have
beautiful.
to watch, be cognizant of the critical root zone to not disturb any
Oh,
structural
thank you.
roots.
That's
So
fabulous.
that's part of the challenge in that area, and it is providing a lot of shade, which is creating a more difficult situation in plant choice. But so that is creating a naturalized scenario on that side of the house. Chris would just like, Scott, I'm sorry, would just like to block the neighbor just a little bit. Just it doesn't have to be a solid wall, just enough to provide a distraction for the eye and create more of a natural scene.
I think we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I think I really
So-
liked what Mark was describing, the fact that there's some hemlocks mixed in
Yeah.
and then some
That-
lower growing, slow growing
Yeah.
plants.
Yeah, that'd be
That's great.
great.
Have you ever heard of Oregon grape?
A Mahonia?
Well, I don't know what it is. I just
the
found
Latin
it
is
on
Mahonia.
our
Yeah, it's
property, and no one has eaten it. And it's got these fabulous flowers, and it seems to be evergreen. You can have
it's a
some
great
if you want.
plant. It's not often
I found
planted.
loads. What's that?
It's not planted. A lot of people don't use it because again, it's marginal for the zone. It does well down here in Rockland. But Scott's house is up a little higher than, it's got elevation. So if they've changed the zone here to zone 7, you're still in zone 6B and maybe even 6A at the heart where it's super exposed. So Mahonia is one of those marginal plants. It's planted ubiquitously in the south, along with Nandina, another semi-evergreen. I like Mahonia, and I've seen it very successfully planted in rye and places along the Long Island Sound. It thrives there. I'm just skeptical as to how well it would do in Tuxedo Park, and I don't often see it up there.
Well, I just found it by accident on our property. I was just clearing out all that barberry, and there was a big stand of that fabulous stuff. I had to look it
Yeah.
up. So if you want some, let me know.
Sure.
Seems to be plenty.
That's
Anyway,
great.
so
Well, okay, well, we're very sensitive to your concerns, and honestly, we kind of put our hands in Mark about what'll work. I mean, we lost a lot of plants that we put in, and so I don't want to, originally, a few years ago, so I don't want to try and put those again because we know they didn't do well. But, other things that do the job and don't look like a wall, in the front especially.
So do you want to list the things now, or do you want to just send another little plan and then we'll be able to approve it next time, or do you want to?
I think we
Put them-
move it now. I have a
You
high
want-
confidence. I mean, his spouse is a member of the Tuxedo Park Garden Club,
Yeah.
so the pressure is on to do the right thing.
Pressure's on. Well, we want it to look nice for us and everybody. I mean, it's just, that's the goal. But I think we had in here already the Japanese cedar, and those have done really well and they look nice. So we have those. I mean, I think it would be nice to plant some arborvitae because we know they do well. They've just been thriving, especially on the side. I think they would do well. But Mark, whatever you think with the rest.
My tendency or impulse is always to plant a mixed hedge because, when you monocrop, all you need is one pathogen to come through and wipe out everything. And it does happen. I've seen it, with the hemlock is a perfect example. Woolly adelgid didn't exist before the mid 1980s, and it came up, so the story goes, in Hurricane Gloria from the south, and it's just devastated the park. There used to be predominant hemlock throughout the park in Harriman. It was one of the foundation species, and it's gone. So, that's why I like mixed plantings. So we will plant a combination of things to soften it with the idea that we want to create, not just get the utility that Scott and Jeff need, but also make it soft and make it blend in and work with the
Right.
environment.
Thank you. And just the last point, the important thing is anytime taking trees down, to replace them ideally with more portfolio of trees up. So, but you've been doing that
And
already.
the more native ones you can find, the better.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, we've put in a lot already, so we definitely
Appreciate
want more trees and not zero.
Oh yeah, we planted
Hey,
swamp white
thank
oak
you.
last year and all kinds of other natives, but to do a screen, it's challenging. But we'll do it. We'll get it done, and it'll be nice. It'll be much nicer than it is now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the plans for 6 Clubhouse Road for the tree removal. But particularly with the mixed planting as described today by Mark Kalish, which seems to be very much what we're looking for, including some hemlocks, some arborvitae, and some other evergreens to achieve the results of screening that you need, but with some variety. And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, Mark.
Bye.
So the next applicant is Tower Hill. Please, like to.
Welcome.
Hello.
So would you again read your names into the record, please, so Desiree can write them
I
down?
am the property owner, Glenn Young. And this is Brian Newman.
Attorney from Bluestein Shapiro, Rick Franken Barone, on behalf of Mr. Young.
In case we have to go to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
we have some-
Okay, thank you. Would you just like to briefly talk us through it, or
Well,
everything is
I think
already?
it's fairly self-evident. I've taken Where's my take thing? Inspiration, I should say. Definitely notebooks. I give them over to Mr. Armstrong. And let him decide 2 things. One, the things that he himself thought would be would add vibrancy to the life there, but also things that added soil erosion qualities to them. So those are the 2 overlapping premises.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Looking great. Yeah,
I
I
know.
love it.
I know, I was so excited to see it. Thank you so much for doing
No,
it.
thank you. I mean, this is
It's a
Collaboration.
fantastic quality, step up and
I know, it's
sensitive to the
wonderful.
environment, to the erosion and all of that. So the planting species, the planting plan, I think is fantastic.
Yes,
The other things we needed to address were we've seen samples of the stone gravel, which matches what.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that looks
I don't have
fine.
any problem with does anyone have comments as to the gravel? Or questions?
Looks fine.
And then the stonework.
Well, I don't know what you.
That's going to be.
Well, the fascia,
That's right.
top and the sides,
Sides visible from the road and then from
from the back too.
back as well from the northern property. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, here's the explanation.
And the behind that, the home itself, the stone of the house is quite variegated. It's not a monochromatic stone, so we wanted to find something that lives within that palette. So that's what we've done. And Tim, whom we've met, he's restored a lot of the walls for the Central Park Conservancy, so he'll be very aware of where things should go.
Well, I don't have any comments
We've got a green light.
or questions.
We like that.
And all the other stuff, the structural stuff, John, is all.
Yes, we had a revised structural plan showing a steel ledge that the stone will rest on. The ledge will be slightly below grade, so you will not see the ledge. It will appear as if the stone are coming out of the ground.
Great.
Is everyone ready to
Yeah.
vote? So I'd like to make a motion to approve 44 Tower Hill Loop, the plans dated April 2nd, 2026, with the fabulous planting schedule.
Let's put in that word fabulous.
And the stone, is the stone color recorded here or is it?
No.
John, can you read into the record the name of the stone that's also part of this approval?
Fieldstone, right?
I don't know what name.
It is a field stone,
It's for the
yeah,
fieldstone.
Okay.
yeah, it's a field stone.
And with the examples of the stone provided today. So do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All in favor.
Okay, very nice.
Right, okay. Appreciate all your input, your inspiration.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
And
I
keep us
actually have-
posted how the plantings go. Give us feedback
Oh.
about which ones.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm gonna add this into the archive. Believe it or not, I have tickets to Carnegie Hall. Didn't add it. But I think I might get there.
Oh, go for it.
Oh,
Yeah. Keep on practicing.
Have a great
Thank you.
so much.
Thanks.
Good night.
Thank you. And thank you.
Take care, Glenn.
So the third application for today is 121 Laurel Road. Would you like to step forward?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Jay Reichgott, the owner of 121 Laurel Road.
Thank you.
And
Did you hear that, Desiree?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you guys have been up to the property or know it, but the 121 Laurel Road is the small, single-story, shingled chicken house, not 119, which is the square gardener's cottage. And to get to our house, well, the best way is to back up our spur of the driveway. It's about 14 feet wide. It's a fine driveway, as long as you're not nervous. And it's bordered on the one side by the really steep hill that goes down to the lake, and on the other side by a rubble stone dry laid wall, a chunk of which has fallen over. And this is the second time that piece has fallen over. So in order to really fix it, so we don't have to keep putzing with it, we really want to fix the wall. So take all the stone down, get a proper batter to it, get a proper drainage layer with stone and filtered fabric and the whole 9 yards. And if we're gonna go to the trouble of taking all the wall down, the other problem that driveway has is almost no parking. Because 119 and 121 used to be a single property, or they were two properties, but when they built the house at 121, they redivided them. And what we have is the driveway and the little carport, and that's it. And so, we have two cars and we have to have two people move them. And if we have guests over, that just, sort of stacks up down the driveway. So what we would like to do is take the wall down, cut back the first of the two terraces by about 6 feet, and rebuild the wall. Which will give us then, a 20-something foot driveway, which will give us a spot to tuck in a couple of cars when we're looking to have parking. It will also sort of ease the curve as you enter into the driveway. It is awkward.
I went there today.
Okay,
Awkward.
it's awkward, yes. When I drive my wife's car, if it's pointed the other way that I'm used to, I've been living there for like 5 years now, and it's awkward for me to back down the driveway. In any event, so that's the intention. We fully plan to stockpile the rocks that are there and reuse them. I think that there's sufficient, because of the way the curves lay out. If not, I fully expect that we're going to dig a bunch more stone when it's about 40 or 50 yards of dirt, I calculated. There's going to be a lot of broken rock in there, so we'll have more stone. A lot of that is offcuts from when they were building the houses up on the top of the ridge, and it still has the feather marks. And so we're not gonna number every stone and put them back where they are now, because that's silly. But we're gonna basically recreate that wall in a more
Mhm.
useful location to us. Yes, it is close to the neighbor's property line. That's just the way the property line is. We're not intending to try to take any of the neighbor's land. It would be best to be able to sort of redo that whole wall from where it changes elevation, because that will knit the wall together better. If they have a real aversion to that, we'll start a little bit further back. Fine. But I'd like to be able to bring that curve around at the, I'm waving my hands in the air, but I can show you on the sheet here. I mean, yes, this is the property line. There's this little bit that's mine. And that's where the wall changes elevation. So if we left this piece too far, it doesn't serve the purpose of easing this entry curve into the driveway. That being said, like I said, I'm not interested in absorbing any of my neighbor's property or, causing any issues. So we'll make it work. There is a mystery, you can see it in the pictures, there's a mystery outlet pipe. I've never seen any water come out of it, but it must go to their house because it doesn't go anywhere near mine. We'll preserve that. I mean, obviously we'll cut it back as we move the wall, but we'll make sure that stays at least as functional as it is now. So, I mean, that's the plan. And then right now, the top of that terrace, there's we made a footbed that's got wildflowers in it and the rest is grass, and that's what it's going to be when we get done. We're not planning on doing anything interesting or exciting with the plantings at this point.
Now, could I just ask John a question?
Please.
John, is there any structural considerations that need to be, that's your domain, or?
Yes, there are. But Mr. Reichgott submitted a plan that shows drainage, and I'm sure he'll add whatever details I may like. But I think the wall he's proposing is more structurally sound long-term with proper drainage behind it than what probably exists. I don't see much in the way of drainage behind.
No.
There's nothing. I mean,
That's why it collapsed.
it's a stack of rocks with no specific, I mean, it's dry laid stone. So, all of the joints are drains.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't have any issues with that.
And what about any legal considerations with the property line, or is there any concern?
This
or-
board nor I can give, the applicant permission to work on your neighbor's property. And we did receive a letter or email from him.
Yes, that's what I was gonna talk about,
So
yes.
it is, we have, that Mr. Fabian is on board with this project before we proceed. There appears just to be one point where I guess the wall does abut his property incrementally.
I mean, the property line runs just behind the wall at that. So, I mean, in a perfect world, the neighbors would let us uproot the sticker bush that's there and, cut back the foot or so that it would take to rebuild the wall there. So when we get finished, that corner will be in the same spot, as close as humanly possible. If they are adamant that they don't want us touching their property, we'll move it over. Just, at some point.
So, I don't know how to handle this. So this neighbor has requested more time
Correct.
to review the materials.
Correct. He was originally sent a notice about this project. I reminded him today on the 20th, he originally was sent the notice on the 18th.
Right.
He claims that he just saw this now, and he's asked for time to review the plan and submit comments. And I think unless there's some real imperativeness to do this project, I think we have to give the neighbor, at least till the next meeting. And
That's fine. I mean, I don't need to do this project this week by any means. A piece of the wall has come down, but it's not like it's gonna continue to unzip or that, somebody's house is gonna slide into the lake or anything, so.
I think it's good that, I mean, functionally for your cars, but also for the fire engine to come up if your house burned down. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's great to have that wider driveway. Just solidify the wall, so it's a retaining wall. That's a big improvement. The issue with the neighbor is clearly the intent with the property line was that wall is your baby, and that the upkeep of that. So even though the property line is very close to it, it seems very clear the intent was that that's your wall, and that's that's your responsibility, and you're taking that responsibility. But yeah, so I have no problem with it at all. And yes, but I think this, in fairness for the neighbor to get more on board with it, to study it and understand it.
Yeah.
Here are comments that we're favorable, have a favorable opinion, and then go from there. But yeah, I think it's an improvement, and it's a big frustrating issue. These lovely houses in the park with stupid driveways that are not dangerous and not functional.
Do you have thoughts and comments?
I'd echo Christopher. I think it's perfectly fine. So there are parallel walls. I guess this other wall, these are just, they're in the landscape. Is that what all this is happening?
So here, if you look at the photo.
Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay,
So-
got it, yeah.
The first one is on the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so this one's already coming down.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. This wall is these small pieces of stone that are
Yeah.
offcuts.
Right.
The wall above is these giant cyclopean
Yeah.
boulders.
Right.
But okay, I think that's been reworked. The terracing around, especially around the 121, around the gardener's cottage, has been reworked. And when they did the redivision of the property line that they drew, and which is now denoted by the line of giant arborvitae that were the previous neighbors. That's not Fabian's fault. It cuts across that top terrace in a way that's really artificial. It is what it is. So the top terrace is nice, not particularly usable because of the line of arborvitae between it. That's a different question. The sort of the next terrace down has got a pretty, a pitch that makes it sort of a challenge to even mow and isn't useful for anything. So that's why we'd rather take that space and move the wall back. We can't go all the way back. It would be too much driveway. Anyway, sorry. The driveway is going to stay 14 feet wide. This is parking area. But if we move much further back than that 6 feet, I put my engineer hat on and said, I don't want to have to worry about undermining the giant tall wall. So that's why that's where the line is, where it is.
You have better turning radius into your driveway now, though? You said it's parking area, but will the turning radius in be better?
So if we go back to we can go to the
Yeah.
picture. I mean, right now, to get into the driveway, if you're cut it wide, you can swing right around here, and if you don't catch it wrong, you won't take your fender off on the wall here.
I have a camera that I can turn on and still drive, and I turned it on and I made sure, but I was close.
Yeah. And in fact, what I find works better is I drive up this driveway.
Oh, and then you reverse.
Here's the whole plan. So here's the 5 corners, right? And you come up the driveway and you go past here and then you back in.
Mm-hmm.
So what this will do is by sort of, this is you drive up here, but by starting the cut closer to the property line here, it will increase the room to turn here. I don't expect that, we don't have very many giant parties. So,
Well, next time you're up for the bar and we have to come over, it'll just help us.
it'll help you, and then you don't have to worry about, I did have a very interesting moment when my father came up here and put one wheel over the over the
Ooh,
edge, but, you know.
Yikes.
You got, that's why you got four wheels. You only need three to keep yourself stable, right? So, but yes, and it's twofold. It's to give a little more leeway on the driveway, especially when there's, you know, snow plowing and all the rest of it. And give a place to stick a couple of cars, when we need that. Having to knock on a neighbor's door and ask if we can borrow, you know, they got all the parking when they redivided the property.
So,
I think this is great. And I think, you know, you've got the issue of the crumbling wall right now. It's gonna look better. It's gonna be more functional. I think it's great.
Thank you.
yeah, same here. I think it makes perfect sense. Surprised it hasn't been done before. It's so logical.
Well,
But you know, it's just
yeah,
fantastic, you
rebuilding a
know.
wall is not a minor.
No, it's not nothing,
proposition.
but it's just gonna feel so much better driving up there. It's a very natural thing to do, and you know, using the stones. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, with the drainage and everything.
Yeah.
Just you know, it's just to give the neighbor a little more time to
That's
think
fine, like
about
I
it.
said. I mean, I think in real life, even if you had approved it, you're not gonna do anything.
But we
later on
don't,
at the end of
we
the
don't
summer.
have, we don't have any negative comments or other requirements, I think. No.
Thank you.
And this is all your property here. That's
Yes, so, yes, it's about 6 acres. Most of it is pitched like this. So I used to have a wand up, it's disappeared. But if you go up, I guess it's continental at that point. So, here, this is Lorillard, this is Continental going down until at some mysterious point it turns into Weewa. This is Laurel going up the hill, and this is Continental here. And our property runs all the way up to like one telephone pole before where that giant highway surplus concrete retaining wall is. And it goes about halfway up the hill. And
well, it's interesting because you could have had a president as your neighbor.
oh yeah,
I just found a letter on Anne Who's property when the Tilford estate sold it. This guy called Samuel Sachs purchased it. And then he had buyer's remorse. He said, what the hell am I going to do in this huge house? So he wrote a letter to FDR saying, would you like it? And we didn't get the answer. We haven't got the letter back
Oh
saying
my
no.
God.
Obviously he didn't. And then that's when he sold it to Hans Christian Sonny, who gave it to the school. So that's when TPS moved there. So that little point there could have been,
oh,
could have been there.
yeah. So
Excellent.
that's our giant nature preserve. We're doing our bit to keep the trees up.
Excellent.
Leave them alone.
Appreciate it.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Okay,
Thank you so
so
much.
I will wait to hear further from you and,
I will remind your neighbor that we'd like to hear his comments, if any. And I'll give him till the next meeting, approximately 2 weeks, approximately.
perfect.
So,
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
provided you can make it, whatever.
I expect I will, just, you can move these meetings to 7:30 like all the rest of them.
So you
Thank-
prefer it later?
Thank you.
Well, because, someone's got to work for a living. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take
Have a good
care.
night.
Good night.
The minutes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the bar meeting April 6th. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry.
So 3 in favor, so the minutes are approved. Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's BAR meeting, it being 6:16. Do I have a second?
Second. Yes.
Meeting adjourned.